In Shakespeare's play As You Like It, Jack Ways, a traveller, says these famous lines: "All the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts." True to his own words, Shakespeare himself played many parts. While he is celebrated as the most famous playwright in the Western world, he was also a poet and a theatre entrepreneur who built theatres in London, managed acting companies, and sometimes acted in his own plays. He was also a successful businessman, a husband, father and grandfather, and a friend. Of course, Shakespeare today is also an industry. No other author has been translated into so many languages or their plays performed around the world so often. No other author's work has been adapted as many times as Shakespeare's has into movies and novels which rework his plays, their plots and characters. There are statues of Shakespeare all over the world, like this one in Central Park, New York, and paintings, music, and other works of art that are inspired by him and his work. There are even toys, such as this Shakespeare action hero. Shakespeare may have died over 400 years ago, but he is still very much alive today, in objects and artworks such as these, in our heads, in quotes like "to be or not to be," in the reconstructed Globe in London, and in buildings and memorials in Stratford-upon-Avon, where he was born, such as this one in the Theatre Gardens. Over 26 million people have visited the house in which Shakespeare was born. In this image of a display at New Place in Stratford, where Shakespeare retired, we can see coloured flags in the foreground. On these are written the titles of all Shakespeare's plays, and they change direction with the wind. This symbolises that somewhere in the world, someone is engaging with that Shakespeare play, reading it, performing it, adapting it, watching a movie of it. And while Shakespeare is commemorated at New Place, he is also sometimes at our place. He is certainly at my place, and a little later I'm going to have a look at what I call my Shakespeare stuff. First, to find out more about the history behind Shakespeare and his work, have a look at the Shakespeare timeline, his family tree, information about the first folio publication of his plays, and an alternative history of Shakespeare, which is constantly being debated by biographers. Then we'll begin to look at what Shakespeare stuff you might have at home. I'll see you soon.